Julian, the dinner is completely cold, I said, staring at the grandfather clock. It is our third anniversary. Oh, please stop whining, Maya, Julian snapped. He stepped into the brightly lit dining room, loosening his expensive silk tie. I had an incredibly busy day at the office. A busy day? I asked, my voice trembling slightly. Or were you just busy spending extra time with her again? Chloe stepped out from behind him, smirking right at me. Maya, please do not be so incredibly jealous. Julian and I were just catching up. You know we are old childhood friends. Old friends do not intentionally crash private anniversary dinners. I fired back, gripping the edge of the dining table. Get out of my house right now, Chloe. Maya, that is absolutely enough, Julian yelled, slamming his heavy leather briefcase onto the hardwood floor. Chloe is my guest. You will treat her with the respect she deserves. Respect? I laughed bitterly, feeling the hot tears threatening to fall. What about some respect for me? I am your wife. You are just a bored housewife, Chloe said softly, pretending to look totally innocent while hiding behind him. Julian works so very hard. You do absolutely nothing but complain, Chloe continued, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. I just wanted to celebrate his big merger. Shut your mouth! I screamed at her, losing all my carefully maintained patience. You have been trying to steal my husband since the day we got married. Then it happened. Smack. My head violently jerked to the side. The sharp, stinging pain on my cheek was instant and overwhelming. I slowly touched my face, staring at Julian in absolute, horrified shock. He had actually hit me. Julian, I whispered, my voice breaking completely. You hit me so hard. You embarrassed me in my own home, he growled, his eyes dark with fury. You sounded completely unhinged. Oh dear, what a terrible mess, a cold voice sneered from the hallway. Eleanor, his cruel mother, stood there with a deeply smug smile on her face. I always warned you she lacked basic class, Julian. From the kitchen doorway, Maria, our sweet housekeeper, let out a sharp, terrified gasp. Mr. Julian, please. You cannot do that to her. Mind your own business, Maria, or you are instantly fired. Julian snapped viciously. He quickly reached directly into his suit coat pocket again. He pulled out his personal checkbook, grabbing a silver pen. He angrily scribbled on the paper, tore it out, and threw it directly at my feet. There, $300,000, he said coldly, looking at me like I was garbage. Buy yourself some expensive new clothes. Go to a luxury spa. Buy some diamond jewelry. Just stop causing unnecessary drama and go back to being the quiet, perfect wife I actually need today. I slowly looked down at the piece of paper resting on the floor. My cheek burned hot. My heart, which loved this cruel man completely, stopped. It simply stopped feeling anything for him. It suddenly felt completely empty. There was no overwhelming anger anymore. There were absolutely no tears falling from my eyes. There was just pure, solid ice freezing in my veins. Well? Julian demanded loudly, crossing his arms over his broad chest. Are we finally done fighting here? I slowly bent down and picked up the check. My fingers did not tremble at all. I looked him dead in the eyes. Yes, Julian, I said softly, keeping my voice completely perfectly steady and calm. We are absolutely done fighting. I will be extremely quiet. Good, he muttered dismissively, instantly turning his attention back to Chloe. Let us go to the study. Chloe, I need a strong drink to relax. Of course, Julian, she cooed, casting one last victorious smirk in my direction before following him away. As their footsteps faded down the long hall, I just stood there, staring down at the expensive paper clutched tightly in my right hand. He honestly thought he had just successfully bought my permanent silence and obedience. He had actually just completely funded my escape. My perfect plan for revenge had officially started right then and there tonight. I am leaving for the corporate office, Julian announced the very next morning, adjusting his watch without looking at me. Behave yourself today. I will, I replied smoothly. The exact moment his luxury car left the driveway, I moved. I took his massive check directly to the bank, cashed it, and packed only my absolute essentials into one single bag. I quickly dialed my fierce best friend. Sarah, I said when she answered. I finally did it. I am completely done with him. Stay exactly where you are, Sarah demanded fiercely through the phone. I am coming right now today. Sarah immediately picked me up and carefully hid me in her secure apartment. You are safe here, she promised. I wasted zero time. I used the money to hire Detective Reed. I want you to closely dig into Julian and Chloe, I told Reed during our meeting. Find their hidden financial histories. Consider it happily done, Reed smirked. Next, I confidently sat across from David, a truly ruthless divorce attorney. I want out, I told David firmly. But I want to prepare my exit papers entirely in complete secret. We will easily crush him, David assured me very confidently today. When Julian came home to a totally silent, completely empty house, he instantly blew up my phone. Maya, where are you? His first angry text read. Stop throwing a childish tantrum and come home immediately. I just stared at the screen, smiling slightly, and permanently blocked his number. I was already a total ghost. As the weeks quietly passed, I focused heavily on entirely rebuilding my deeply shattered confidence. Sarah dragged me to an upscale corporate networking event. You need to mingle again, she insisted, handing me a drink. Show them who you really are inside right now tonight, Maya. At that crowded event, I unexpectedly crossed paths with Liam, who was Julian's absolute biggest tech rival. Maya? Liam asked, looking genuinely surprised to see me. I have not seen you in years. You used to be a total marketing genius. I have been terribly busy, I said cautiously. Julian always forced me to hide my real talent. Liam smiled sharply, his eyes gleaming with clear interest. Well, I strongly remember your brilliant strategies, he stated firmly. I actually have a very powerful lead job opening right now. I want to offer you a massive lifeline today, right now, tonight. You want to hire me? I asked, feeling my dead heart beat faster with pure hope. I want to formally hire the smartest woman in the entire room, Liam answered sincerely, handing me his expensive business card. Call me tomorrow. I tightly gripped his card, feeling powerful. Meanwhile, completely without me there secretly managing his complicated life, Julian was deeply struggling. According to Reed's daily updates, Julian started making incredibly sloppy mistakes at work constantly. He heavily relied on me for everything. And now his entire perfect world was slowly fracturing apart, very easily without any real safety net left. He missed 3 meetings again. Detective Reed proudly reported over the phone one brisk evening. Chloe keeps showing up at his private office. She is so deeply suffocating, I laughed coldly. Yes, Reed firmly agreed. Chloe's highly toxic, incredibly needy nature firmly begins to drain his remaining energy. They loudly argue constantly inside his office. I smiled while looking at my own new laptop. I had just officially accepted the amazing job offer. From Liam, I was stepping fully into my beautiful new career, while Julian and Chloe violently dragged each other deeply down into total pathetic misery every day. Are you ready to totally finalize this plan? David asked me during our final strategic meeting. I am more than completely ready, I confidently replied. Detective Reed gave me everything we desperately needed to totally destroy him. Excellent, David said, happily organizing the massive legal file. We wait for the absolutely perfect moment to strike. I walked out of David's law office breathing incredibly freely. Julian paid me to stay, but his dirty money actually just bought my absolute total permanent freedom. I was finally totally prepared to aggressively watch his entire arrogant world beautifully burn to absolute gray ashes. Maya, this campaign is absolutely brilliant, Liam announced loudly during our board meeting. You are truly the best marketing director we ever hired. Thank you, Liam, I confidently replied, proudly smiling. 6 entire months had rapidly passed. I was a completely new, fiercely independent woman. I was finally standing extremely tall. Meanwhile, Julian's life was rapidly falling apart. Did you hear the latest news? Detective Reed happily asked me over the phone. Mr. Vance officially threatened to pull all company funding. Because of Chloe? I asked. Yes, Reed laughed. She keeps causing endless, massive public scandals for him every week. Mr. Vance values family image above all else, I replied, staring at the city skyline. Julian is definitely completely ruined. Later that very afternoon, my office phone suddenly rang. Maya, there is a deeply desperate man demanding to see you downstairs. The front receptionist nervously warned me. Send him up, I answered calmly. I already perfectly knew who it strictly was. Desperate and heavily broken, Julian finally tracked me down here. The large glass doors angrily swung wide open. Julian stormed into my spacious lobby, looking totally exhausted, sweating, and completely, utterly defeated by his own pathetic, terrible life choices. Maya! Julian loudly yelled, quickly rushing toward my desk. You look incredibly different. Hello, Julian, I coolly greeted him. What do you want? I demand you come back immediately, he shouted, slamming his shaking hands on my desk. You must play the perfectly happy wife. Again, Mr. Vance is totally destroying me. That genuinely sounds like a massive personal problem, I smoothly replied, casually crossing my arms. Please, Maya, he aggressively begged, looking terribly weak. I will fire Chloe today. Just firmly fix my completely ruined public reputation before I easily lose my entire massive tech business empire right now. Instead of angrily yelling back at him, I simply opened my desk drawer. I calmly pulled out the incredibly thick folder and served him the divorce papers. David successfully drafted. What is this? Julian weakly asked, staring at the legal documents. Those are your harsh consequences, I told him. But keep looking closely. I proudly slid the heavily damning financial evidence directly across the smooth table. This absolutely proves you secretly embezzled massive company funds to quietly pay off Chloe's massive gambling debts. Julian's extremely pale face instantly lost absolutely all its remaining color right then and there today immediately. How did you eventually find out about this? He slowly whispered, completely terrified. Detective Reed is exceptionally good, I happily explained. I cleverly hired him using the exact same generous check you aggressively threw at my feet. Julian heavily stumbled backwards, violently clutching the horrible papers. His arrogant pride totally shattered. He dramatically fell completely to his shaking knees right in the exact middle of the busy lobby. Maya, please. I'm so incredibly sorry. He desperately started crying, violently sobbing and loudly begging for my complete forgiveness in front of absolutely everyone who was actively watching us closely tonight. You must safely help me, he pathetically wailed. I finally truly realized the massive, absolutely irreplaceable mistake I stupidly made. I coldly looked down at the deeply pathetic man who once brutally slapped me. I honestly searched my entire soul, and I felt absolutely nothing inside. No pity, no remaining love. We are completely done, I softly stated. I quickly turned confidently on my expensive heel and firmly walked away, willingly leaving him behind to face his total, absolutely devastating financial ruin completely alone forever. Maya, wait! He loudly screamed behind me, sounding completely broken, totally empty, extremely completely defeated. I completely ignored his desperate screams echoing loudly behind me. I firmly pushed through the heavy glass doors and happily stepped out into the beautiful golden afternoon sunlight. I was openly smiling widely at my incredibly bright, fiercely independent, amazingly successful new future. I took a deeply refreshing breath, feeling truly alive again. The incredibly heavy toxic chains were permanently broken today. I finally successfully proved to Julian, to Chloe, and to the entire greedy corporate world that my absolute graceful, total calm silence was truly the absolute, incredibly loudest, extremely sweetest, and most powerful permanent revenge of all time right here now forever.